Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the American Culture Critic Podcast. I am your host, the self-proclaimed American Culture Critic, Paul Yosas. And with me today is my producer, the host with the most, Adrian.
Hey, man, how you doing? Thanks for having me on again. How are you?
Doing all right. Pretty cool, pretty chill.
This is an interesting double header, as it were, of a show you got for us, right?
Yes.
Well, what are we talking about today?
We're going to be discussing James Gunn's Superman 2025, now that we're at the tail end of the so-called Summer of Superman, followed by a review discussion of Fantastic Four: First Steps. And then I'd like to get into discussing both films in the context of what's going on in the world today and the shift in tone in both films.
Indeed. So where do you want to start? You want to start with Fantastic Four, or you want to start with Superman?
Let's start off with Superman, since it's the one that basically kicked the ball rolling and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it I believe it came out first. So yeah, it was like the 1 week Superman, and then a week pause, and then Fantastic Four the week after.
Yes.
All right. So how do we start?
Well,
our first episode was Superman, so this is interesting.
Well, given that I'm a Superman fanatic, as are you, it would have been blasphemous if we didn't have an episode about that.
It's our boy.
Yeah. But interesting perspective for me is that I have seen so many different iterations in live action of our boy.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I did a review for the blog, AmericanCultureCritic.com, for anyone who's interested, where I decided to give it a little twist in terms of its presentation and took a Dr. Manhattan-esque tone in revisiting going to the theater to watch the latest Superman film and how each one left me feeling. And with the Christopher Reeve film, I was 9 years old. I was grinning from ear to ear at the end of that film. And it was an experience unlike any other, especially for me, since the whole thing was set in New York, called Metropolis, but I was across the bay from it at the time. So I was really immersed in it with my 9-year-old imagination. And then
not only that, Superman was kind of like the first.
It was the first major blockbuster that treated the character straight.
Yeah, not camp, not 66 Batman camp. This was, you'll believe a man can fly. It was in the tag.
Yes. And they had to live up to the tag, and they succeeded.
Yeah.
But then with each subsequent, discounting the sequels from the Christopher Reeve films,
and then Returns.
Then you got Returns, where basically it's Superman the movie redone through a cynical Gen X lens. And it was a disappointment for me. And then we get to Man of Steel, which I always wanted to make this point. I never really get the opportunity to. But if it wasn't for Superman Returns, we wouldn't have gotten Man of Steel.
Right.
Because the tonality and the nostalgia-heavy aspect of that film,
Returns, yeah.
Yeah, Returns, probably led to the whole, okay, we're shucking everything and starting a new period with Man of Steel. But in a different direction that didn't really quite fit the character. I feel
there's such a good book waiting to happen from the beginnings of, I guess, Nolan with Batman Begins, and how originally that was going to be a one-off. Nolan hates sequels, didn't want to do a sequel. Then obviously they dropped a Brinks trunk on him with, and then The Dark Knight makes $1 billion. Remember when $1 billion meant something?
Yes.
Anyway, and then Nolan is the executive producer of Man of Steel. Man of Steel looks way similar in terms of its marketing and presentation to Dark Knight, even down, where Clark is just brooding throughout the trailer.
Yeah.
And then you have the whole BVS afterwards. All of that. There's a book there waiting to happen. I think you're the man to write it.
Well,
Failures of Warner Brothers.
Thanks for the vote of confidence. Trying to write my reviews sometimes is like pulling teeth without Novocaine and a pair of rusted pliers.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what happens when you watch a Zack Snyder movie. Ayo.
Oh.
So
my producer, ladies and gentlemen, he'll be all awake.
And I like Man of Steel. I mean, it's bad, but I like some of it.
Yeah, but I remember leaving the theater shell-shocked. And it took me a little while to process what I had seen. Because it was basically Superman meeting disaster porn at some point. But and now we come to me. I'm 56 years old. Okay, the cast, the majority of the crew, and all are decidedly younger than me, and I'm going to this Superman film with diminished expectations.
If I could, this might be a little bit. We were talking beforehand about the movie, and you said something very poignant to me. This iteration of this character is not for me. This is not my generation Superman. That's what I'm walking into.
Very good point.
Just to give you an idea of how low Paul's expectations were, like, I'm just hoping it's a functional film. That's I feel you were hoping for.
Yeah, but instead I left the film grinning ear to ear, feeling like I was 9 years old again.
Yeah, it felt good.
Because I'm a cynical aging critic. Trust me, I was not expecting to feel as caught up, as immersed, and at the end, as elated as I did watching this film. Because it gets the tone of the character right, and it does pay homage
to what came
before, but not slavishly. What it did was modernized it, made it relatable, took a lot of the issues that most people have with Superman, especially Gen Zers and millennials, who find the character completely unrelatable. And I have an adoptive niece who pretty much said as much to me before either one of us went to see the film. She said she couldn't relate to Superman because too good, too perfect. There's no shades of gray. But wasn't really into Man of Steel either because it was just too much.
It was too much the other way.
Yeah.
You could argue the betrayal of the character.
Well, I've always said if you're gonna hire someone to do an adaptation of a character or a story, don't hire someone who has a disdain for it. Don't hire someone who has to find a reason to find a hook to do this character.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying? It's it's counterproductive for everybody. In my opinion.
Not to just it's been 8 minutes of a show and we've done 7 minutes bashing on Man of Steel, but there is something to be said because I want to talk about the number of 3.
Okay.
There's 3. The number of 3 is heavy in the beginning of the movie because they talk about 300 years. Like, what I love about Superman is at the very beginning, we didn't get the Krypton origin story. The baby arrives in a rocket. Thank God. I never need to see it again. And unless it's like whatever. But Man of Steel did it pretty well. It did 20, 30 minutes of Krypton just in the beginning. Like, do we really need all that? Anyway, but in the beginning of Superman, you have, it's been 300 years. They were gods and monsters. We get that reference. Superman, he's been working for, he arrived 30 years ago. He's been out in the public for 3 years. There's a lot of 3 in that. And obviously the connotation is the Trinity. But that is something out of the get that Man of Steel didn't do. Man of Steel was trying to do the whole
world building that
exactly.
Point.
But James Gunn here, I think this is the difference, where James Gunn is given the keys to the kingdom and said, "Take the ball and run with it." Where Zack Snyder and whatever the hell happened there, it was just executives and things like that. Because here, it feels very much in tune with what the character should be, and it does world building in such a great way. We have Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, all of them getting, and Metamorpho. Yeah. Oh my God. Dude. I could spend 10 minutes on Metamorphos, just the way they got him right.
Yeah.
Rex was so good. And I guess that's the thing that James Gunn and be it his humble origins with trauma movies, and I guess he's one of us, a nerd, he doesn't look at these characters with scorn.
He borrows a page from Richard Donner's book of verisimilitude.
Okay.
He understands. I mean, and it's not something that he has expressly said, but this is
through his actions.
He lets the art speak for itself.
Yeah.
There is none of the customary wink, wink, snark that we expect from, say, for example, his Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy.
Yeah.
Everything is treated straight, and whatever humor is in there is organic to the actual story or situation.
It's character based.
It's character based as opposed to situational. Let's throw a bone to.
Yeah.
This is a cape movie about people flying around. No, it treats it completely, totally straight, as if the world actually exists. So that whole auteurish idea of I'm beyond this material is nowhere present, and everybody is having a wonderful time in their performances, and I'm a sometimes actor, so for me it's more than just watching performers. It's also because I'll tell you something. For me, a major turnoff is when you have someone who has a disdain for the material or the character they're playing because it oozes out.
Yeah. You could tell in the character in certain performances they would rather be anywhere else but there.
Kevin Spacey, Superman Returns is my primary example if we're going to keep it in the Superman milieu, for example.
I was going to say Thor: The Dark World, just anybody. But in regards to the film itself, it was, I got to tell you, granted, it is not a flawless film.
No.
You could say a lot of the things are underbaked. There's not a lot of character development. The characters don't from beginning to end. But I mean, that's kind of what Clark is. That's what Superman is supposed to be. He's a passive protagonist. Things happen to him, and we have to watch how he reacts to it. And I think what's great is that Corin Sweat really earnestly understood the ethos or the mythos of the S, of Big Blow.
He embodies his role.
Yeah.
And not to take away from Henry Cavill, and certainly not to take away from Brandon Routh.
We love him as a person. Like, Henry, like, honestly, the only Superman actor we hate is Dean Cain. But that's besides the point. We hate Dean Cain. We don't acknowledge him.
Agreed. But
although I do like Terry Hatcher's list.
But Brandon Routh and Henry Cavill are hampered by the scripts that they were given and the direction they were given.
Yeah.
But under these circumstances, the script had some flaws, but it was so earnest you could overlook a lot of them.
Yeah, man. No, and how do you... And look, I am one of the biggest cynics I know when it comes to these types of movies. I'm very, very bah humbug now. Especially after Multiverse of Madness, I was just off the train.
Well, me with the Flash, but okay.
I can't believe you saw that. But, it's Big Blue. I'm biased. But even I can tell you it's not a flawless film. But it made me feel something that I hadn't felt since I watched Reeves' Superman, which is optimism, which is joy, which was, you know what?
Dare I say hope?
Dare I say hope, yeah. And that's what he is. That's what the S stands for.
Well, not in this film, but
no,
that's what it means to the world at large now.
Yeah, exactly. And we got to see that. Him saving that squirrel. The kid. I fucking cried, Paul. Because that kid was screaming for Superman holding that flag. Because we're all that kid. And Gunn did it very well. It was very on the nose, but it was also wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm not going to say it, but you know what we're saying when it comes to the whole military backdrop. But all of that was just a perfect moment of the time. I know we're going to talk about that later in the show where we talk about how it came out at the right moment. And I'm hoping we still feel this energy, No, because I didn't want to spoil, but you know what Hawk Girl does to a certain character.
Yeah, well.
Damn, I'm not like Superman. But you know that's what's great in that.
Mm-hmm.
Gunn understands that this is not a monolith. Not every character is gonna be this. Not every character, and that's also the problem I think with what DCEU was before. Everybody tried to be Batman. Gunn here is no. Everyone is different. Everyone's unique.
They have their unique personalities to each of the characters. And
dude, Terrific stole this fucking movie.
Definitely made up for X-Men First Class, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, man. I didn't even know that was the same actor.
Surprise.
But I listen, I love First Class, albeit that is one of the dumbest fucking distinctions, Darwin dying the way he did.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers for that almost 15-year-old movie now. But dude, fucking he brought it with such a good gravitas. Like, it wasn't with disdain again.
Oh, no.
And you were talking about the joy earlier. Yeah, the cast brings it, and he brings it.
And he brings it in such a... You can easily see him as being the smartest man in the room who's annoyed that nobody else is just as smart or anywhere near that.
Right. And they ask such dumb questions.
But do it in such a way where he is not overbearing or annoying.
Right.
He carries his scenes.
Oh, especially that fight scene. We have to talk, I think, about one of the biggest things, and it's you and I. We have a certain affinity for a bald-headed nemesis.
Oh, gosh.
Listen, Paul and I have a huge affinity for one character, because without Lex, there is no Clark.
Exactly.
And they're both, what is it?
What, foils?
No. A hero is only as good as his villain. And Smallville was kind of like, I mean, for me, that was amazing as terms of Lex representation. Obviously, Hackman, everybody agrees that's kind of like template. And then Spacey was a bad facsimile of it. And we don't talk about Eisenberg. But this
or John Shea.
Who?
John Shea, who played Lex and Lois and Clark.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and
Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, which, again, we are not really going to talk all that much about. But
but Superman and Lois had a good Lex, too.
Oh, gosh. Michael Kulditz, he was terrifying in a different way as Lex.
We'll do a show on Superman and Lois eventually.
We should, because that
deserves its own show. Yeah,
exactly.
If Peaks had a show for us, I mean, we could do that one.
Which we still have to do Fire Walk with Me and season 3.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna rewatch them.
Yeah, you need to prep for that one.
No, I'm sorry. It's just whenever you're down, just put on Peaks and it feels great. But no, back to this. Focus.
To I'm sure it's been said many times before this summer, and I said it unapologetically in my review, but Holt was a beast as Luthor.
But pun very much intended, but still not inaccurate. He fucking brought it.
No, not inaccurate, but he upped the level. It's just the malevolence,
that
and
envy
the cruelty.
Speech.
Well, that's the other thing. There was levels to that performance.
Yeah.
When he was in control, he was the suave, smarmiest. I guess that's the word for it. In the room, but as the movie escalated, and Superman and things started unraveling, and he starts unraveling, and then I did not know Holt was capable
of that
that range.
Hey, Paul.
Yes.
How many A's are there in Superman? One A. Bro, I like how you brought that up, that over the film, he gets progressively crazier. But during that beginning, where he's there talking to the government, and we have the quote-unquote beginning of Cadmus.
Yes.
And Lex is just giving all these great ideas, for these guys. And no, we still trust Superman. But that these glimpses of him, where these machinations. De Niro always said 90% of acting is in the eyes.
Yes.
And everything Holt did where he didn't talk was just as important as those moments where he fucking hammed it up.
The internal acting was on par or even more powerful than the external.
Is it true that Holt tried or auditioned for Superman?
Yes.
And Corin Sweat got it, and it's kind of like why they have this like a little bit of a rivalry in terms of acting.
Yeah, but even Holt admitted that after he saw Corin Sweat's audition, he was like, "Yeah, I don't have this. I just don't have it." But that loss was the film's gain
because we got Lex.
Because we got a Lex that, for the first time in years, on the big screen,
felt threatening.
Felt on par threatening to the Man of Steel.
A man with infinite resources, like everything that movie did was obviously in tune with that universe. But it was just like, oh my God, what else does he have? There's a point in the third act where the Earth is... whatever. The Earth is always getting destroyed. That's the whole point.
Big hero, movies. Big stakes.
Always exactly. Big hero, big stakes. And there comes a point where he's just willing to sacrifice it. And one of his lower henchmen is like, yeah, but we won't have anywhere to land. But somehow, like,
wasn't that Otis Berg? Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
It's those things. It's those things where you go, Gunn gets it. You know? Otis Berg. Miss Teschmacher got a little space. But seriously, in the same room, he has a fucking pocket dimension. Like, Lex has it.
Which was his most chilling moment in the entire film. It takes place in that pocket dimension.
Oh, yeah. Can we talk about the hostage? Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about how do you hurt Clark? How do you hurt a character that is nigh invulnerable?
You hurt the people around him.
You hurt the heart. This character, and of course, Gunn did it so well. This character has maybe 6 lines of dialogue. But through environmental storytelling, through certain beats that happen, Metamorpho witnessing the actions, and
coming up with a reason why that's credible as to why Metamorpho would be acting the way he does in this film. Because in the comics, he's a feral, true blue, working. He's basically, to a degree, DC's version of the Thing. As the working man's hero,
he's Ben
outsider.
Grimm.
He's basically Ben Grimm. But he was set up in the promotional materials and the trailers as an antagonist, which left a lot of people's heads scratching if they know the lore. But here's a plausible reason as to why.
And not only
and
that,
it works.
In this pocket dimension, in the very scene, everyone Lex has, and it's the most pettiest things. It's an ex-girlfriend that didn't want to be with him anymore. He puts her. Someone who left him a bad review at one of his restaurants or something. I think I forgot the throwaway line. And you see there Clark, and he's suffering under kryptonite. Great. I'm glad we get kryptonite. But they do it in a way where it's the same thing as putting a regular James Bond, and he's handcuffed, and he's having to watch this person that took care. It's the same thing. Kryptonite in this situation is ropes.
Yeah.
But you take away that character. It could have been Lois. It could have been Perry White. It could have been Jimmy. And the acting Corin Sweat does fucking nails it. Where this person... So Clark in the books, every time in the books, whenever he's downtrodden or something, he goes out in the world and he finds random people. And that's the thing about Clark. He's a man of the people. He's the salt of the earth farmer. So whenever he talks to these people, man about town, like in the end of the movie, we see it in the front page news by Clark, the real hero, and it's that vendor. Like, that's such a beautiful thing of a story. I'm sorry. I spoiled this whole thing. I'm sorry.
Well, we're going to be putting a spoiler tag when we launch the thing anyway. But what's impressing me right now in our discussion is I can talk till I'm blue in the face about how much this movie has meant to me, but watching and listening to you espouse these feelings of what this film has brought to you is basically making my point for me. You realize I haven't seen you or heard you with this much passion over something Cape related, much less S related, since the time that I've known you.
It's been a long time, yeah. But damn, it's good. And we got a lot of S stuff, man. We got Superman and Lois. My Adventures with Lois. My Adventures with Superman, excuse me. We're getting a Supergirl movie, which I'm very interested.
Well, it's already test screened and it's getting favorable reviews.
And you already know we're getting another thing with Krypto and Superman and Supergirl.
Oh, as a matter of fact, this week, James Gunn released an animated short with Krypto.
Oh, that's good.
Chasing a pigeon.
Oh, that's awesome.
With a little bit of a Superman, the movie homage in that as well. Search it out on YouTube. It's cute.
Oh, that's
it's
fucking
cute.
great. But see, that's great. And I love that we're getting this at this moment because times are bad. But we'll get there.
We'll get there after Phantasmor.
Yeah.
But
do you have anything? I'm sorry, I have bogarted the Superman portion.
Well, hey, I'm good with it. Like I said, it's feeding me and also kind of justifies where I'm feeling at with this film.
I'd watch it again.
I've already watched it again. But what I love about it is that, again, as I said it before, yeah, it respects the past, but it modernizes it.
Yeah.
I mean, John Murphy and I forget the name of the other composer at the moment. They took Williams' main theme, but didn't just slavishly recreate it. They extrapolated it and made it its own thing for this generation. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You go anywhere on social media that has a video of any sort.
And the punk rockers.
And the punk rockers, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's the real punk rock.
Which has Iggy Pop's seal of approval. He's just tickled pink by it. Well, the royalties, probably help too. But but he's enthusiastic about the fact that not just that the songs being embraced, but the association with Superman and that character. Let's face it, this has been the most hype I've seen of any Superman film since the first.
Yeah.
In terms of the marketing and the hype, Man of Steel didn't get this.
Not at all. Man of Steel only had hype in the sense of what they could do next. Is Christian Bale going to show up? Not for the character itself. Mm-hmm. This is actually for the character itself. It's for what it means to be Superman. Mm-hmm. Like, this is huge at this point.
One of the best reviews I read for this film is one of the most succinct. And it was it was a random one on, I think, Reddit or something. This film makes me want to do community service.
Yeah, that's the real punk rock.
Talk about hitting the mark.
Yep.
That a film with an aspirational character will actually inspire someone to say, you know what, maybe I want to do some community service.
Maybe I want to plant a tree.
Like I said, the performances are top notch.
Lois was amazing.
Rachel Brosnahan as I'm not sure if I pronounced her name right. As Lois was.
She was really good in something I wish Amy Adams had, a good script. But she was really good. Oh, the scene with her and Nathan Fillion just going off.
Oh gosh,
in that argument.
And Nathan Fillion, yeah, he.
Dude,
the only actor
give that man anything, and you want to talk about a salesman? That man will sell ice to Eskimos.
You do realize he's played 2 Green Lanterns now.
He has? Who's the other one?
Hal Jordan. He's played Al Jordan in various DC animated films.
Oh, okay.
With Justice League.
Yeah, I didn't know we were counting animated, but yeah.
Well, in this case we are, because here's one actor playing 2 different personality types of Green Lantern and nailing each for their medium.
I'm really glad we got Guy as good as he did.
And we're still getting Guy.
Yeah.
He'll be on Lanterns, and I believe he's going to be in Peacemaker as well.
So when in 2016 DC launched this thing called Rebirth, and I was very excited. Paul and I were there, I think, day one, buying all the issues. But one of the things I got super into was Green Lantern. because they did such a great thing with Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps, and then we have Jessica Cruz and Sodom Yacht, and a huge roster of just great Lanterns. My problem is, I don't think any of them is going to be as charming or as funny as Guy is. Guy is so hysterical.
As it should be. As it should be. There's a character of Guy Gardner. I mean, when he was first introduced...
Kid, Superman couldn't make it. You got the upgrade.
You got the upgrade. And then the
middle finger is... Oh, dude, it's just... I love Guy Gardner. Everybody hates Guy Gardner, but I love Guy.
Guy is a buffoon. He's a brain-damaged buffoon, at least in the comics.
Yeah.
But over the years and over time and...
but even if like Sinestro's fused with Parallax or some bullshit, he's the only one that'll still be standing there with like maybe a shitty power ring and still be like, fuck you.
Yeah, bring it.
Yeah, I got one arm. I can still go. Like, I didn't hear no bell.
He may be abrasive. You may not like him, but you do want him at your back.
Goddamn right. I wouldn't want anybody else.
And more power to Fillion for bringing it.
Yeah.
And making it. I mean, yeah, you're kind of annoyed with him, but especially with the scenes with Hawkgirl. But by the same token, you're like, I want a brewski with this guy. Special effects were amazing. I
didn't like the river in the pocket dimension because where it was all cubes, the water going. The black hole looked great, but everything leading up. Okay, so here's the thing. Do you mind if I get into theory?
Go for it.
I think Ultraman that went into the black hole is going to turn into Superboy Prime.
Some people have said Bizarro. And
I don't think... Bizarro could make sense because he's dumb. But Superboy Prime makes sense to me because that way you could do a whole multiverse thing because that's a reality bender at the end of it.
It's possible. But it can also be that this is just a done-in-one with that character.
Sure.
Which, with films, I think it really... Especially with these new crop of films, better to just let one of those ideas go to bring in something new. Because now you don't have this whole thing about having to unite the seven.
Right.
Okay? We don't have to have a Justice League right away. We don't have to have a Batman or Wonder Woman right away. That's one of the other things that I loved about this film is, basically an Ersatz Justice League International being brought in.
Dude, it was a JLI.
as the Justice Gang, which is
terrible name.
Terrible name, but hey, Metamorpho liked it.
Fucker, I know you fucking had one tear like that Native American that saw the trash when you saw the Hall of Justice. I know you had a tear when you saw that fucking...
You weren't there, I will not say... I will neither confirm nor deny.
That shit looks so good, dude. That Hall of Justice... Alright.
It's not like we haven't seen the Hall of Justice before in live action, because it was in the Arrowverse on the Flash, but it's not the same thing.
Not with big budget.
Not with the big budget, and especially with the mural. If you paid attention to the mural with the different DC characters over history.
Which Gunn is really good at the social media marketing part. Way to go, DC. You picked a good one to lead your universe.
By
the way, at the time of this recording, it has made $562 million. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a box office success.
And it's about to go streaming in 2 weeks.
Hell yeah, and I'll watch it again.
Which is unheard of in terms of a film being that big financially and going straight into streaming.
I don't know what's gonna happen with cinema. That's
a whole other discussion.
All right. Do you want to go to Fantastic Four and the First Steps?
Yes, we will segue into the Fantastic Four and the First Steps, which shares a lot of story beats and stakes. But I'm not as much of a Marvel fan as I am a DC fan. So I used to read Marvel up until about mid to late 80s. So then, finances and other such forced me, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So
Let me tell you something, kids. Comics can get expensive. I was spending $80, $90 a week on books that I wasn't even reading. Anyway, what do you know of the First Family?
I do know that they are basically the first family of Marvel Comics.
Right.
I know the origin of the cosmic rays going going as astronauts, being forever changed, but
you know the characters
and the ethos of the characters
and the characterizations of what they are. You know Ben Grimm. You know Sue Storm. What do you feel this iteration of Fantastic Four?
Closest to the comic that I would have ever experienced. I'll tell you something. After I did like the first two Fantastic Four, not talking Roger Corman.
No, we don't.
Whose cast does make a cameo Yeah.
I didn't notice it.
Oh, in the opening montage when everybody's thanking the Fantastic Four, you'll notice that there are 4 older individuals.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's the cast from the original Roger Corman unreleased film.
Also, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This is on a different Earth, which I think helps the fucking script immensely.
Oh, absolutely. From a psychological standpoint, it takes you away from the whole multiverse and Thanos Infinity Stone saga.
Yeah.
Right there. It's kind of like a meta reboot of the Marvel universe going forward. I'm not saying it's rebooting everything, but what I'm saying as far as a tonal shift or the whole Kang mess and everything, no, we're starting fresh here, and it feels fresh because you've got that new New York World's Fair aesthetic and the melding of what the future would have looked like to people in the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah.
And makes it work. It feels lived in. It's bright. I mean, there's an oversaturation of blues and whites.
Right, but the world feels lived in. There's a lot of love to the production design. At least the set pieces look really great. Mole Man underground. I marked out. I know some of Fantastic Four. I don't know a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I do love the Jessica Alba Fantastic Four movies. For what they were fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I love 3 of the 4 in this. Here's my thing. I don't think Pedro Pascal had enough in the script to do it. Granted, you have so much to do. And, what do you do with the smartest man in the world? You make him scared by not knowing what he's going to do. He did that very well. I just didn't get a lot of it's Reed. You know what I mean?
I can agree. Well, what threw me off was
because Ewan Grufford made him Reed.
Yes,
I believe that was Reed Richards. This doesn't. Pedro, I love as an actor, amazing actor. Maybe there wasn't enough time, but dude.
But the focus is kind of different because now that you have Franklin Richards in the mix, he can't exactly be the most arrogant, smartest guy in the room. Now he's forced to be a dad and face his own insecurities. That speech of not wanting his child to become like him. I'm not a father, and that hit. That hit deep. But going to what you're saying, there's that. There's also one of my main complaints was the lack of the frenemy banter between Ben and Johnny.
Oh, yeah, we didn't have a lot of that.
We did not have a lot of that, and
because they're supposed to be brothers that peck at each other.
Yeah,
and I didn't get that a lot. I got a lot of like good family. For me, honestly, I was gonna bring this up. The best actor in it for me was Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm.
Is essentially her movie.
She fucking nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, what she did in the 3rd act, I was fucking that's Sue Storm. That's my girl. I was like, that's her. Because people sleep on the anyway.
But when you watch, one of the biggest controversy about this film was using, I forget the name of the character. I have it in my notes.
Silver Surfer.
The Silver Surfer, but the female as opposed to Norrin Rad.
Right.
But when you look at the film, you understand why. There is actually an organic reason for that. And we're going into spoiler territory here, but we're not just talking about family in terms of the Fantastic Four. No, we're talking about the overriding sense of family between mother and child.
It's very much a mom movie. Very much.
On both their parts.
Yeah.
Yes, we're spoiling, but still. On both their parts.
But
it fuels Sue's story, but also the surfer's tragedy.
absolutely. And Surfer always has a tragic story. There's been multiple surfers. That's kind of the thing. There's been multiple Heralds of Galactus, but there's only been one Galactus, which I do love that we got. He's coming back. We don't know yet. We blinked him out of this universe kind of thing, which I love. Give me that. Give me out of universe so we'll save him for later type of shit.
They made it work. They made Galactus work.
He wasn't a fucking purple cloud, thank
He
God.
wasn't a purple cloud. And
oh my God. His scenes where he's just walking through New York.
practically done.
Yeah, but
Practically done. Miniature sets, his feet.
and it was perfect. I gotta tell you, man, Galactus is such an iconic villain, you know, Anti-Monitor ripoff notwithstanding. But Galactus, that presentation of him, that aura, masterfully done. And I really hope they consider... See, here's the thing. I love Doctor Doom. I hate that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Doctor Doom. I gotta suck it up. I'm not going to watch Avengers Doomsday. I couldn't give a shit. But if there's some through spoiler or whatever, they decide, hey, we're going to make an Avengers movie about Galactus, that one I'll watch. Because that's a villain. That's a villain that nailed it, and the actor delivered the lines well, and you felt the sorrow in the repentance of him having this insatiable hunger. Because that's the thing. He's not necessarily a villain. He's forced to do this, folks.
He's a force of nature. Is basically
Exactly.
I would have liked to have seen...
It's a hurricane with a conscience.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen more of that world destruction of him feeding in order to... They only had X amount of time to fill.
Right.
Regardless...
It's a tight 2 hours.
Yeah,
but it didn't feel slow.
No.
Didn't feel long.
No, it did not feel long. But I didn't get 100% the threat of what Galactus is supposed to be. I would have liked to have seen him actually consuming other planets or leading up to Earth.
I would have been okay with him eating a planet and maybe 30 seconds or a frame, a frame or two of a family like being on the planet. Oh, and you see Galactus like whatever his ship eating this thing.
Yeah, I like the fact that Johnny wasn't treated as a buffoon.
Yeah, actually, can we talk about my boy Johnny really quick?
Go for it.
The actor fucking nailed it, and the fact that in script, in lore, he understands and translates an alien language to flirt with an alien chick is perfectly in character.
Spot on.
Oh my God, the writers understood the assignment. That's Johnny though. Oh, and that shot of him grabbing the surfer's board in space. God, really, really beautiful. There's things like that where you're like, that's nice. That's beautiful to see.
And they made Herbie work.
Yeah.
Herbie was that film's Krypto, and I now I feel bad I didn't get to mention Krypto in
We mentioned
but yeah, Krypto stole that movie, and Herbie steals this one. I mean, that lullaby to
Franklin.
to Franklin, that's all over the place too.
Yeah.
As long also with that what the fuck.
Now, what do you think in regards to this movie? Like, because you've watched most of the Marvel movies. Have you watched the other ones this year, Thunderbolts and Brave New World?
Yes.
How does this feel compared to those? Does this feel the same or uniquely? Because I didn't see the others.
Thunderbolts is... I wasn't going to review Thunderbolts, but I'm going to give it a mini review. It is an atypical Marvel film. It goes deep. It goes deep into broken family and trauma. I mean, in a way that, mental health, in a way that other Marvel films just have glossed over, if anything. Yeah, Tony Stark has had PTSD with this. And yes, Tony Stark is kind of protective of Peter Parker because he's a kid and reminds himself. No, but here, God, the name of the actress who plays Black Widow.
Oh, you mean Florence Pugh?
Florence Pugh does this monologue breakdown of her character, of where she's at the climax of that film. It's heartbreaking.
Well, to be fair, that's an amazing actress.
Yes, she is an amazing actress.
She was in Oppenheimer. She was in Midsommar. Phenomenal actress.
Thunderbolts is about family as well, but does it from a different place and dark.
So we have Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts in the same year, and both are about family, but different ends of that result.
Different ends of that result. This Thunderbolts is more like broken family coming together.
Okay.
Family that
the
you
family
choose.
You choose.
Whereas Fantastic Four is family sticking together no matter what.
Right.
And it's brighter, even though it has its own dark themes, because let's face it, it gets to a very existential argument of the one life for billions. Do you sacrifice the greater good or for just one life?
Let's ask Spock.
No, I remember reading this short story back when I was in English class in high school. It's about I don't remember the name, unfortunately, but it's about a community that's thriving. It's prosperous. The crops are fruitful. Everybody's happy. Everybody has a roof over their head. But there's this cell with one solitary occupant, and it's a child, underfed, undernourished. No human contact, ill, suffering, but he has to stay in there so that the town can thrive. And the question is that morally right?
Wow.
And so we're given that same choice here. And the film says, now we're going to have our cake and eat it too, God damn it. And does so in fantastic fashion. What I loved about it is that despite the incredulity of what's being presented in terms of the visuals and just the scope of it, the fact that they could ratchet up the tension and leave you at the edge of your seat, despite the cosmic craziness, the Kirby crackle that's up on a screen, it's just phenomenal. The director and the editors and Michael Giacchino with his score, which he's like John Williams in that he can take the same repetitive theme but give it little nuances and little flourishes here so that it actually fits the tone of what's being conveyed on the screen.
Also, at the time of this recording, Fantastic Four has reached a worldwide gross of $440 million. I think still pretty good.
Still pretty good. Still
Nothing's
in theaters.
Nothing's going to hit $1 billion anymore in terms of cinema. Like, you can't hit that theater gross anymore. COVID killed it. The quote-unquote superhero fatigue, which says something about these two films, that it's managed to overcome that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good time to segue to one of the points you wanted to bring up. At the beginning of the show, you wanted to bring up how these two movies kind of are emblematic of the time or kind of help with this time. What do you say?
What I would like to say about that is that I've always stated that art is either reflective of or a reaction to the times of which they are created. There's no in between. Right. Or maybe you can have a little bit of each, but it cannot exist in a vacuum without having something to be reflective of it. And let's face it, for over a decade, superhero films have been dark. I mean, take a look at
Dark Superman. We've had Injustice. We've had, the Suicide Squad. And
heck, we've had Iron Man. Iron Man starts out pretty damn dark.
Yeah.
Okay. And
let's not forget, at the very beginning of the movie, it's the backdrop is the Iraq War.
Exactly. And there's no place for hope or optimism in a lot of these films. Everybody's got to have a dark agenda. Everybody's got to have some
betrayal. There's some hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even Captain America, the brightest shining light of the MCU, And he's caught up with being a man out of time, especially in these times, and not until Endgame, at least, not being able to be with the one person he wants to be with.
Right.
Okay. There's very little. Even Spider-Man got dark in No Way Home.
I have so many gripes about MCU Spider-Man. Whatever. Yeah.
Hopefully that'll change with Brand New Day. But the point is that it gets to the point where you're just tired of it being so dark and so human, I guess, in terms of cynicism.
You say that, and I agree with you. However, even some dark superhero tales actually do offer some light, some hope, and I think Batman with Robert Pattinson is one of those, because you could do dark and be hopeful, and that's one of them. That third act, I don't know. We watched it together.
Yep. On my birthday.
Yeah, and I think it was a good birthday. But that was such a good scene where you just saw Batman learn to be, I can be more.
He realized that he can be more, that he does not have to be consumed by his own darkness.
Right. And this is a character that is pretty active in the story, but at the beginning of the film, he starts with I am vengeance.
Yeah.
I am vengeance personified. That's all he gives a fuck about. And at the end of the film, he realizes he could be more for Gotham.
At the end of the film, he doesn't ride off into the sunset. He rides off into the sunrise.
Yeah.
That is potent. That is important.
And ever hopeful.
But this is both Superman and Fantastic Four start off bright and hopeful. Now, granted, yeah, the first scene in Superman is him getting his ass kicked.
Right.
Okay, but still, look at the color palette. Look at his costume. His costume is not dark. When I first saw the promotional images for Superman Returns, I knew that Bryan Singer wasn't getting it because all the colors were muted. Superman's costume is not supposed to be muted.
It's supposed to be bright.
It's supposed to be bright because the character is bright.
Yeah.
You miss the costume, you miss the point.
You miss the costume, you miss the point.
Whereas with Cornsworth's costume, yeah, I have a gripe. I don't like the militaristic high collar sort of thing.
But they got the trunks.
But they got the trunks and they got the colors right.
Yeah.
And that was a step in the right direction.
Well, you and I disagree on the S, but that's a story for another time. That's a show. What top 5 S's?
But as the story progressed, you realize that, my gosh, I'm segueing back to Superman, but one of the arguments is people not doing good for its own sake. That's what makes the character unbelievable to some. So when he yells in frustration, people were going to die, I felt that. That was heard. I felt because, yeah, there are people who do not want to see injustice in the world and feel that there has to be something to be done. No agenda, no politics, no, just someone who's about to die. What do you expect me to do?
I think what was great for both films, Superman, the film touches on a lot of it because it uses Krypto gets taken by Lex. It uses the surrounding environments. Lex hurts Clark through various ways, but it always shows Clark, he creates the whole military thing to fuck with Superman. But Clark and the Fantastic Four, both at the end of the day, how do they win? They win through empathy.
And the Fantastic Four was, both in both films, the world turns against the protagonists.
Right.
Okay? The crowd turns against Superman, but the entire planet goes against the Fantastic, and particularly Sue Storm.
Right, because it's her kid.
Because it's her kid. And she stands up and says, no, not my kid. Not my kid. He may not, he's just as important as any of you. But we're not going to sacrifice you for him either. We will find a solution. And they did.
But there was empathy on the part of the Silver Surfer character to give her life to stop Galactus. vis-a-vis Superman. I've Jimmy Olsen's love interest, Eve
Tessmacher, and yes, it was Eve Tessmacher
with the bad toes. But she, through her seeing Clark with the dog and scared about the dog, like that fucking resonates, man. She was empathetic. Well, not really. She was tossed aside by Lex, but still, dude, like. There's empathy on these characters. There's empathy in these films, and I think that's what it grasped. That's what it showed.
And these
people were going to die, not my kid. These things are so important, and yet so simple.
I'm going to go here with this is going to go into the whole quote-unquote woke discussion or the political reality that we're living in right now. But we're living in a very bleak time. Politically, economically, socially. We haven't... The type of division that we're seeing is not necessarily unprecedented, but just it's never been that far out in the open.
Yeah.
And
it just seems to get darker and darker as the day goes on.
So that's why I'm saying that the pendulum seems to have swung the other way as a reaction to it. Now, granted, Superman was in production before the last election. It was already in production. So I'm not going to debate how much of this administration or the last two administrations have infused the writing. But, yeah, there's going to be parallels like Lex Luthor being a corporate billionaire, can be reflective of business and or political figures. Figure that out for yourself. You don't need me to help you read between the lines.
I think that's a disservice to Lex.
But
he's not that dumb.
But
see, that's the problem. Everybody's like, "Oh, Lex became president." Yeah, but Lex
has always been unhinged. It's just been different reasons for each generation.
Say what you will about Lex being, a space racist, but he wouldn't cut cancer funding.
True enough. Well, unless it benefited him.
Yeah.
Because there are a few comic stories that, I especially remember.
He does cure cancer.
Okay, now I'm going back into comic nerddom during the John Byrne, Marv Wolfman era. But there was one storyline where Lex manufactured a situation where Lois Lane's mother got infected with some sort of disease that he can only provide a cure for monthly in order to get Lois to sleep with him.
Oh, wow.
But it turned out he manufactured the crisis, he caused the disease, and the cure could actually be done in one dose. But he manufactured it, so it would have to be taken, so she would have to be indebted to him. So, I'm not sure about Lex curing cancer and, maybe later iterations that I missed.
Yeah, there was, I think the Mark Webb series where it was Punisher, Superman, Batman Public Enemies.
Okay.
And it was after Lex gets to be president, and they find out, oh, you've been having kryptonite on you this whole time? Yeah. Well, that causes cancer. Oh, I didn't know that. And it was like kryptonite poisoning. And he had to cure cancer for himself. He didn't give it out to the world, of course, because why would he do that?
And before that, he lost his hand to kryptonite, which led him becoming his own clone, and that's a whole other can of worms.
We don't talk about Matrix Supergirl.
I liked Matrix Supergirl, but
you would.
Regardless. Hey, those shape-shifting powers could come in very handy in certain situations.
Listen, it's all right. Who am I to talk? I like Superman Red Blue.
But we're seeing these films as a reflection and reaction to what's going on today. I mean, entertainment is supposed to be escapist. And this time we're seeing
a mirror to it.
A mirror. Yeah. And it's showing a very ugly reality. But it's showing that, hey, not only can there be hope in the world, but we want it. We need it. We desire it. Explain these box office numbers. If these films were not engendering those feelings, people are. We've seen CGI. We've seen superhero films before.
Yeah.
That's nothing new now for us. Okay, especially for generations that have been hell. There are digital creators on their laptop who can do in some cases better special effects than what we see on screen sometimes. But people were coming back for more.
And not only that, but you're seeing this. You're seeing like this change in social media of people just really adopting the message these films are selling. And granted, every film has a message. Every movie has something they're trying to say. Mm-hmm. That's the point of art. It's trying to tell you something. But one of the problems with these superhero movies, and Martin Scorsese touched on it a little bit, is that a lot of them are rides. A lot of them are fluff, popcorn fluff, escapism. But at this point, the popcorn here had kernels of truth.
Well, can we make an argument that with these two films, we are actually demanding and getting more? Yeah. Finally?
We're, in terms of writing, for sure, because these are pretty good scripts. I didn't feel insulted like I did with Thor: Love and Thunder, or whatever other fucking DC shitty movie, Aquaman, or Wonder Woman 84. I didn't have my intelligence insulted. Mm-hmm. Look, here's the thing. I get it. Comic book movies have a tough thing where they're trying to appeal all audiences. Yeah, I certainly like movies that appeal to a hard rated R, movies. But these movies have to be good for the average 1 to 10-year-old to the 50 to up year old, because they're the ones taking the 1 to 10-year-old. The 10-year-old doesn't have fucking money for the tickets. But still, you cannot treat your audience like idiots and repeat the same jokes ad nauseum and force these superlative terms, these viewpoints,
or even to throw out character development for the sake of a plot point.
Yeah,
as has happened with Anthem, Quantumania, and what was the other? There was another Marvel film where it was Love and Thunder as well.
God, Love and Thunder was shit.
Yeah, I remember sitting next to you. You were not happy.
No, I love Thor, so I was just like, God, this movie sucks.
By the way, a bit of trivia. Did you know? You know that Jeff Johns, one of the creative directors of DC Comics and producer in the films, was an apprentice to Richard Donner.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, that's how he got him through the door with DC in part, and how he got Donner to write Action Comics for a bit. And
I actually own a graphic novel that Donner wrote about Superman having a kid.
It was Zod's kid, but yeah,
Zod's kid.
That's what I'm talking about. Do you know who else was interned at the production company?
No,
Donner's production company. It was Kevin Feige.
No shit. Well, Feige does like Jeff Johns. I do know that they're good friends.
And Feige also screens whenever, at least he used to, before starting any Marvel production, any film. He would make the cast and crew watch Superman, the original Reeve one, so they can get the understanding of what we're trying to convey in the films that they're making. Being earnest, treating it as.
Have you heard that Kevin Feige might be on the outs?
I've heard rumors about that, but we won't know until it's actually posted in Deadline or Variety.
Let me tell you something. If Amy Pascal has found a way to dodge that many bullets, I think Kevin Feige's all right.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so, because having Amy Pascal take over taking over Marvel is not something that fills me with.
No, I heard Kathleen Kennedy's out.
Yeah, that I've heard too, but nothing official yet. It's all still rumor.
I'm Star Wars.
You're spitballing at this point with that. But I'm hoping that both these two films are in the right direction.
I want more of this. I want earnest writing, earnest characters. Just, if you can do that, that's great. And I think we're getting more of that. I think what these films showed us is, as you said earlier, we listened to you, the audience goer. Mm-hmm. We heard you. You didn't like Marvels. You didn't like Eternals. okay, you didn't like whatever the fuck the other things are. We're gonna change. We're gonna adapt because if you don't adapt, you die.
Well, even Feige has said in an interview that it started to seem like having to go. You'd have to do homework in order to go to the next Marvel film.
And that's a bad thing, man. I hate that. I hate that. I had to understand like 2 seasons of Loki to understand Deadpool and Wolverine.
And you're gonna need that for Avengers. Well, you said you're not gonna watch Avengers.
No,
I'm gonna watch it for both of us because.
Yeah, well, yeah. You come on, you tell me how bad or good it was. Next thing you know, you're gonna tell me, well, Adrian, guess what? It had 50 characters. Not one of them knew what to do. I hate that. I hate the marketing for it. You're showing me all the backs of these chairs, telling me all the people that's gonna be in this fucking movie, and all I think is like,
too many cooks spoiling a pot.
Who's writing this? I do not want to be in that room. Oh, we have to include this character. We have to include She-Hulk. We have to include Gambit.
And yes, She-Hulk will be in there.
Of course, yeah.
And not only that, but then try to manage the actors' egos.
Yeah. Who gets what? Who says what to who, and who's right in what regard? I mean, granted, not everybody's The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, with the whole Vin Diesel thing, but still, that's pretty shitty. I don't know. It's just too many cooks spoil the whole broth, as they say. Is there anything you want to? I don't have anything else to bring up.
I do want to say that these are Fantastic Four, not quite as much as Superman, because it was a good story. But I do want to say that there seemed to be something missing to it. I still haven't put my finger as to what.
I'll tell you what it was. It's Johnny and Ben. They didn't fight.
That's true. No, but one thing that did annoy me is turning the famous catchphrase into a punchline unnecessarily.
Oh, clobbering time?
Yes.
Well, anything's better than the other one with Fantastic, where it was a sign of abuse.
I only saw 5 minutes.
You don't want to watch that movie.
And I turned it off. I couldn't.
James in the theaters, and we were just like, "Oh my god, who did this?"
Seriously,
we got it for free.
They actually turned it into a term of abuse.
Yeah, dude. So in Fantastic, we get lore that Ben Grimm was beaten by his brother, and how we found out how the brother was going to start it would be like, "Hey Ben, it's clobbering time."
I'm so glad I turned it off. I'm so glad I turned it off.
You want to talk? A friend of mine, I don't know if you'll ever want him on the show. He's worse than I am, but he has a term for films like that.
What?
Cinematic abortions. And I think that's pretty succinct.
I've used that term myself. Hannibal Rising being one of them.
Oh.
Both the film and the book.
Oh.
And the book's written by Thomas Harris. But yeah, I can understand that terminology.
Transformers 2, Transformers 3, Transformers 4. There's a joke here. No, but continue. Sorry. But yeah, no. Oh God.
But
that's why when they did that, I was like, oh, that's fine. That's way better than what I've seen.
But both Superman and Fantastic Four both merit rewatches.
Oh yeah.
I'm unapologetically a fan of both of them. And again, and as I've told you before, and as I've mentioned in my blog every time, every generation deserves its own iteration. And as I said in my review, Christopher Reeve will always be my pinnacle. But
that's a good benchmark to have.
But David Cornsweet is, without a doubt, this generation's Superman. No doubt about it. People growing up today watching this film will feel that way, the way I feel about Reeve.
One of the things I wanted to bring up that I remember now, because you were bringing up Cornsweet, there was something that James Gunn released, which was a behind-the-scenes argument between James and David over the people were going to die thing, and I really like how David asked, "Am I saying this because I have to that I believe it, or that I say it that I have to convince her of it?" And James is like, I love the fact that you have to ask me this question, because it just shows how this actor is so in tune with Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And it's showing everything is being thought and cared about.
Yeah. And if you think about it, that minutia of detail could have that scene play either way. And one way actually would diminish Clark. Then I have to convince you of what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Taking it that route would have diminished Clark as the character. As opposed to, no, this is how he feels deep down. Because again, one of the arguments against Superman up until now is that nobody does something good for its own sake. Because that's pretty much where Lois's attacks come from.
Yeah. That's why she has doubt. She doubts him.
And
the whole time she doubts
And that's
him.
not even something new. It's even referenced in the first Superman movie.
Yeah.
I'm here to fight for truth, justice, and the American way. You're gonna fight every elected official in this country.
You'll arrest half of Congress.
And that going back to Superman the movie, you have this cynical woman, cynical of the world woman, okay, cannot believe that she's so caught up in the fairy tale of this special man who is different from anybody, not just in terms of his physiology, but his ideology.
Yeah.
That she waxes poetic. Badly, but waxes poetic mid-flight. And what I like is that it's not a foregone conclusion that Lois and Clark will end up as a couple. But the inverse here is beautiful in the fact that it's Lois that needs to be convinced. Clark is 100% how he presents himself.
But Lois
needs. She starts. I'm not good with relationships. I'm not good with getting close. I'm not good in believing. I knew this was going to happen. And then at the end, she finally admits, "Yes, I do love you." And it's earned. It's not that we expect it because that's the way the lore is.
Right.
No, it's organic to the story and it works. And again, that goes back to the whole motivation and everything being thought out. Every MacGuffin, every setup is paid off in one way or the other. And if there were no further Superman films after this,
I think it'd be all right.
I think it'd be all right. I'll tell you something though. I will tell you something.
I need Brainiac.
Well, yeah. Well, no, a good Brainiac. Nothing against James Marsters during his tenure on Smallville, but
I wasn't even thinking of that like you, but I need a good Brainiac. I would like a good voice for it.
But I'll put it. I'll put this also because I have to mention it. I'll have to mention it. If you ever wondered what Brendan Fraser would have been like as Superman, it's right there on the screen.
Oh yeah.
His performance is like what was this character's name in The Mummy?
Rick O'Connell.
Rick O'Connell. It's like Rick O'Connell in a suit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Both as Clark and as Superman. And there are times where you hear the dialogue, it's like, damn, it sounds like, at least to me.
Yeah.
At least to me. And in the 90s, Brendan Fraser probably would have been the only actor who could probably pull off that earnestness and not come off as cheesy.
And probably the biggest regret in my life is that I never got to see Billy Zane as Lex Luthor.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Because I love him in Demon Knight. And if there was ever a person that deserved to be Lex one time.
He had the look. Once he shaved his head, he had the look.
100%. Also, I love the Phantom, unironically.
Same here.
Oh, dude.
Same here.
Oh, hell yeah. Love Phantom.
It was the right film at the wrong time.
Same with Shadow.
I mean, the 90s was all about
anachronistic heroes.
Anachronistic and tongue-in-cheek and basically, I don't want to say grunge attitude, but the disaffected attitude of, I'm beyond this material.
That's why Burton worked.
Mm-hmm.
Any closing thoughts? Oh, shit, dude. You did a show with somebody recently.
Yeah, Team Insomniac.
Oh, the Triptych Boys. Sam, Chris, and Chris. How are they? What'd you guys talk about? What are we gonna hear?
We discussed again Superman, but this time we were talking about Superman the movie Superman 2, both versions,
Oh shit.
and Superman Returns.
Oh
and
shit.
how they all connect or don't connect. What works with one, what didn't work with the other. And of course, they needed to have an old man's perspective of someone who was actually there when they first came
Back
out.
in my day. Sure, Grandpa, go to bed. The only thing I'll ask is, did you guys cover what the fuck Clark throws off his chest that wraps
Not specifically,
that cellophane?
but
whatever.
we do talk about that in terms of the differences between the Donner cut of Superman and the Richard Lester cut of Superman 2.
Yeah, one where Superman kills them and the others, they live.
Yeah, well, if you want to know more about that, you're going to have to listen to the podcast when it
yeah,
comes out, which I think will be on the 25th of this month.
Hey, now we got a date. So, August 25th, check out Paul, American Culture Critic, showing up at Team Triptych, discussing Superman. This show, I think I'll get it done in about a week.
Okay. And hopefully the next podcast will hopefully be discussing the Amazon merger and what's going to be up with James Bond because of it.
Damn, and considering you're a huge Bond fan.
This one, there will be a lot to unpack on this one because there's a lot to unpack in me about this one. But with that, thank you all again for your support and for listening to us ramble about all things film and what's going on in the culture today. And I will catch you on download next time.